Welcome to the Harshie Podcast. I'm Brandon.
And January.
We are back. We've only done one podcast this week instead of the two. It's been a bit of a crazy week.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling well this week. The weather here in Austin it's like one of those ladies walking around with her big hat and sunglasses and a little yuppie dog and just really high maintenance. The weather's been really high maintenance and with a tad bit of bipolar.
Tad. It's been more like a whole hell of a lot of bipolar.
I just now offended all of the ladies who walk around in big hats, big sunglasses, and little dogs.
I don't think they're listening. I think they're scrolling through social media.
They're the ones that would see me and be like, why are you overpopulating the earth?
They're the ones not pay attention to their kids at the park.
No, but stop it. The weather here has been nuts. It really has been. And it's made me not feel well. It's like my sinuses can't get around it. They can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways.
The reason why we're talking about that is because our daughter had a little thing with a mom at the park yesterday.
Oh, she was really worked up about it because
yeah.
Our teenager was swinging on the swing. She's like, I was having a great time. And then this toddler came running out of nowhere, but the mom was nowhere to be around. And she had to like jam her feet into the ground to not hit this toddler. Now she's used to us parenting where we're probably more like hover parents. Not really, but we are. So anyways, she couldn't find the mom anywhere. And she's like, I almost just knocked this kid into the field next to us. And where's the mom? And I'm looking around at the other parents and everyone's like, I don't know. I think she was over there. And sure enough, this mom was like down the way holding her little yuppie dog, big sunglasses, scrolling on her phone and not paying any attention to the toddler. And so by the time, quite a bit later, the mom came over, our teenager was like, I'm not even having a conversation with you because you're not even paying attention to your kid. Like that's what she was thinking in her head. And it was so funny to like hear a teenager who doesn't want her own children, but like how she viewed how we take care of our kids, or like how, when we're at the park, I keep my phone away because I don't want to get distracted and my kid run off in the woods and now they've lost their way forever and they end up like Hansel and Gretel and they find a candy house and then they just want to eat the candy and then they become kid soup.
Yeah.
So moral of the story, stay off your phone and Austin weather's crazy.
I will admit I've been on my phone at the park before.
Yeah. Oh yeah, me too. So next time somebody sees me at the park and they take a photo of me and make a meme out of it and be like, see, she's on her phone too. Just know I already admitted it. It happens.
True that.
It does. But man, those little toddlers are fast. Like they're there 1 minute on the slide and the next minute you're like running around like, where are they? And they're really just like squatted behind, the little rock climbing walls, pooping in their pants. But it's a scary moment.
Yeah.
It's a scary moment for sure.
Well, we do have a little bit of housekeeping to do.
And
that involves our sponsor.
Oh, yeah.
Doula Trainings International.
That's right.
DTI. So tell us about them.
I actually looked into their online doula training a couple years ago and I loved it. I looked into many of them when I had looked into being a doula. And I love their program because it's an online doula training program. It can be done from anywhere while, still being involved in your community and within the community of DTI as well. And I remember that it was like, groups, classes started together and you go through the whole 9-month program together. And so you have that peer-to-peer mentorship with one another, while at the same time, the group is led by a DTI educator. So you have mentor calls with that DTI educator as well as other ones as well. So there's just a whole lot of support and everyone learning and growing together as you become, a doula to then serve your community. Also, another little note is that with the program, one of the things that people might be concerned about is budget. And so, yeah, of course, you can pay the whole thing up at once, but they also have payment plans too. So that's really nice. It's a really comprehensive, involved, supported doula program from the moment you start till the moment you finish. But then as you go through being a doula on your own, they don't just like kick you out the door and tell you good luck. Like they continue to support their doulas, which is great because doulas need support too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then they have a conference coming up.
They do here in Austin. Hopefully the weather's nicer to them.
Yeah. The Born This Way conference.
Yeah.
What is that?
Well, I was looking into it myself and because I wanted to know more about it too. And it's completely different than any kind of birth or surrounding birth culture conference, and something that was written on a blog recently to describe this conference was the way we're communicating is changing rapidly. Social media and visual content contribute to daily conversations in a way we hadn't seen before. And the way the online communities communicate affects the way that communities and organizations collaborate offline. So basically, online communication is affecting our offline in the real world communication, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So the idea for the Born Into This conference is to bring together birth workers, innovators, artists, and makers who are all committed to reproductive and birth justice. By bringing these creative minds together with a shared purpose among birth workers, we feel like we're tapping into something new. So it's bringing that back into the community and into the real world and having that face-to-face conversation, which, I feel is very important.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's very important.
Yeah, the registration closes this month on the 21st.
Wow.
I didn't know that. So the general tickets include a full day of panels and storytelling, networking, breakfast, coffee, lunch, and snacks. Does someone say coffee and snacks?
Sounds like someone did.
Stick and poke tattoos, chain sticking by 4 at Lonesome, gift bag full of fun, wrap up cocktail party, and of course a birth worker of color gathering, which is amazing. I love that. VIP tickets include all of that. And of course more, because it's VIP ticket, like Mastermind with the founders of DTI, which I have personally sat down with some of the founders of DTI, and that's no small thing to be able to sit down and talk and collaborate with the founders of DTI. That's really special. And then a cocktail party with the speakers and leaders in the birth world. It's pretty comprehensive and amazing conference. Yeah, it's really neat. So if you're involved in the birth world at all, this conference is for you. But speaking of coffee and tattoos, I mentioned in there, let's talk about that today on our podcast. You want to?
Coffee and tattoos, part 2.
It's 2 of my favorite things. Whenever I'm feeling a little blue, I just pour some coffee and think of tattoos. Did you like that?
I did. That was pretty good.
But it's true. It really is. It's true. It's things that make me happy. We when we have kids or if you get caught up in school and work, if you don't have kids or all of the above, it's really easy to lose yourself in what are my hobbies? What are things that I enjoy? And for me, I love really good food. I love really good coffee. I love hanging out with you, and I love tattoos. So today this week we've been talking about what we want to talk on our podcast this week. And we have some ideas like doing another homeschool podcast, veganism, raising kids in today's world, which can be scary, and also marriage and what a good marriage looks like in reality. So if any of those topics sound interesting to you, they're on the table, but I just wasn't in the mood to talk about any of those things today.
Well, we were just watching Comedians in the Car.
Comedians in cars. No,
Comedians in cars getting coffee.
Yes, yeah, comedians in cars getting coffee.
Yes.
It's the most brilliant show ever. It's the best of everything. Like Jerry Seinfeld is a genius.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And it's funny because I never got into Seinfeld when it was out, and even since then. And I watched a few episodes and didn't really jive with me too much. And now after watching this show, I have an all new appreciation for what an actual genius he is. And so now I kind of want to go back and watch Seinfeld. And see
I think in your mature years, you would appreciate it much more.
Oh, absolutely.
If you have not seen this show, it's on Netflix. It didn't start there, but Netflix picked it up. And how many seasons are on Netflix so far? 4?
I think they have 4 or 5.
And they jump all over the place, but they're 12 to 20 minutes long with different comedians and a few non-comedians, actually. But it's so just good. And it's mostly these people who have made it. And then life is humbling. And so then you get to hear really what it's like, what those experiences like, what they take from that, what they want to leave behind, what they truly value in life once they've actually made it and succeeded. And they talk about social media. They talk about just work. They talk about the world, and then of course, I think 90% of it is them all testing bits on each other, stuff they're working on, which is super fun to watch.
Yeah, it is.
And it's, cool cars and Jerry Seinfeld's cynical sense of humor and coffee, which I love it. There's this one, he's I don't remember who it was with, but she said, gosh, you can really drink this much coffee. And he's like, yeah. And she's like, I just find it gives me anxiety. And he said, I rather like the anxiety. I thought that was so good. I just love it. So it's one of my favorite current shows, and we can watch it in front of the kids. It's clean. That's when we can sneak episodes in here and there because you're not committed to like 54 minutes of a show. So I'm really enjoying that show. And I would rewatch the episodes. I think they go so fast and move through it so fast that you would pick up new stuff on each episode that they're talking about.
They're great.
A lot of wisdom.
Yeah. And it's really amazing how genius comedians really are, because to be funny and to get people to laugh is actually a really hard thing. And you have to be really witty and intelligent. And these guys are all smart. Their views on various aspects of life is really fascinating. And
you also have to be willing to be awkward, to fail, and to piss people off.
Yeah. That's a topic that comes up a lot, is about just in today's world, having to watch what you say, because if you say something that someone else doesn't like or offends them, then they call you out, and that's something you deal with on a regular basis. And it's ridiculous the way that the society's becoming that way, at least in our country.
Yeah, because there's a space for that. There's a space for saying, hey, we need better. Like we demand better, for the way we treat each other, for the big issues in our culture that need to improve, period. Like human rights, women's rights, people of color, right? Like there's so much there that definitely needs space, and we need to call out and we need to speak up on. But then there's the other side of things where it might have nothing to do with that, but people are trying to make it that. And, I have that happen to me all the time. And I'm like, oh, this Susan just came from Facebook. That actually happened to me recently.
Yeah, just a couple
where
days
somebody
ago.
took something that had nothing to do with anything and tried to turn it into something. And I said, this isn't about that, thanks. I wasn't rude or anything, but they were so pissed and so upset and so offended that I just told them it wasn't about that. And then I got a DM about how, I was so harsh. And I was like, honey, you've never dealt with a harsh thing in your life. If I was just letting you know it wasn't about that, thanks. And and informed me that she had just come from Facebook calling people out. And it's like, I would say about 5 of my points that I continuously and regularly make with you about what I deal with were proven in this situation.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even mad about it. I couldn't even be mad about it. It's like, this is just what it is, So I love hearing other people who have gone through these experiences one way or another, and I think it's really neat. To watch a show that is funny and you get wisdom at the same time is just wonderful.
I liked it one with Margaret Cho. I liked when she was talking about how everyone has their phones out ready to discipline you with their phones.
Right.
And I love that. It's so true.
Yeah. Her episode was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really neat. And she takes some really touchy subjects of stuff she dealt with personally and took it on stage, in her bits. And one time she took it pretty far and it really upset people. And it was like this huge controversy. So at the end of the episode, she went back there and had a conversation with the original people, which takes some serious balls.
Yeah, the same audience.
Yeah, she did. And she sat with them and talked to them and apologized face to face, not this online apology crap where nobody really buys it anyways because you don't even buy it yourself. And face to face had the conversation, and then it was okay, everything's fine. Yeah. But you get on social media and forget about it. Like you can't have that's not a conversation. No. It's not even a conversation to begin with, right?
It's just a feeding frenzy.
It's just a feeding frenzy of mob mentality, and no one's being heard. It's not a conversation. Other people were invited in, and her and Jerry, did a show, and I loved that. I thought that was so cool, and that kind of takes me to another one of my favorite shows right now, which is Queer Eye.
Yeah, that is actually a really good show.
Right?
Yeah, actually, it's super funny.
Yeah.
These guys are hilarious.
The dynamic of the 5 guys is so positive.
Yeah.
And I love what they're doing. And every time Jonathan says self-care, I'm like, yes, I love that it's mainstream now. Mm-hmm. Being talked about for men.
Yeah, and he's the hairdresser.
Yeah. Jonathan's we all have our favorites. My favorite right now is Anthony. I love him, and I love Bobby, the designer. Like, we just love him. And what I really like about the show is I watch it with our kids, and it's such a different conversation happening in our houses than when you and I were growing up, and probably many people listening, and we've always been very open about talking about people doing them, right? Like I have "You Do You Boo" tattooed on my arm, and just even when we were Mormon and things would come up, I would tell my kids, but just because somebody's doing something different than us, that's not that's their journey. That's not for us to say on their journey. And, we have a very open communication family, and with our kids. And so
we do.
It's so neat to sit down and watch this. And Jonathan is our girls' favorite. They love him. They think he's the best thing invented since sliced bread. Like, no joke. They think like our girls now walk around the house going, "Yes, queen." "Yes, girl." Spray, delay, walk away. Like, they all walk around that. It is,
oh my God, it's so funny.
So fun. But I love the conversations happening on the show too. The conversation with I forget all their names. The culture guy. Karamo. Yeah. And the police officer and their conversation. And it was so honest and so raw, and they just literally held space for each other. And the officer said, if this is the conversation we could all sit down and have one another, there could be a lot of progress and healing and whatnot. And you could just see both of them wanting that, and to sit and watch that with our kids, and the discussion that opens up, is so neat. But so there's the side of it that makes me cry, the side of it that opens up conversation with our children. And then there's the side of it that's so funny that it's just, I hope they have like 10 seasons minimum.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, and there's only 8 episodes. I was like, oh, man.
For me, it's interesting because watching a show like this with my kids, obviously shows like this didn't exist 20, 25 years ago, like when we were teenagers as well. And I grew up just watching sports with my dad, my brother. I mean, we literally only watched sports or pro wrestling or, occasionally.
The opposite of Queer Eye.
Yeah.
Literally.
And the complete opposite. And it's so different how society is now, and it's a good thing. Obviously, it's a little bit, not a little bit, quite a bit less conservative than it was back then. Which
I think a lot of that depends on where you live and the family you grow up in. See, we can say that because we're choosing to be less conservative. I'm doing air quotes, but we're choosing to be more open-minded. We're choosing to be more accepting, and we're choosing to raise our kids to be humans that are compassionate, understanding, and respectful of people's differences. So we feel that that's normal, but I know that in a lot of areas and with a lot of families, a lot of people, that's actually still not normal. So isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Well, and even one other thing too, when I was a kid, I would stay with my grandparents sometimes, and when I was a kid, my favorite show was The Cosby Show. Yeah. Now, Bill Cosby's kind of ruined that for me. So I can't show my kids that show. But
when we think back before we knew, it was great at the time.
It was great.
Right.
And so I'd watch it. I'd stay at my grandparents' house. I'd put it on, came on every Thursday night. And my grandparents literally just got up, walked out of the room, and went and did something else. Like, they just could not stand watching a show like that. They couldn't sit in the same room as like the successful black family comedy show. Which is funny because some of my favorite...
That's wild to me.
Like, 2 of my favorite shows of all time growing up were Cosby Show and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Hell yeah.
I mean, those were really...
Oh, man, I'll still jam out to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air song.
Cosby Show was on Thursday nights at 7, and Fresh Prince was on Monday nights at 7.
Amazing.
Both on NBC.
We had a close family friend came out as being gay, and she was like, "What are you going to tell your kids?" I'm like, "I'm going to tell them that you have a girlfriend." And she's like, "Just like that?" Because she didn't feel comfortable telling her own family, and she was young, and she didn't actually, come out that she was gay until she was 18 or 19. She came, and her girlfriend came from families that you just weren't gay. And this is just a few years ago. This is now.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, she was just thinking it was going to be this huge deal in our family. And I was like, no, and that's what we did. I'm like, yeah, she has a girlfriend. And they were like, what? Oh, that's cool. And she just couldn't believe, that it could be that way. And I told her, I'm like, kids are love. The end. Like, kids are love. Like, they don't have these, ideas that, it's different, and that means it's bad, and that's not good. Like, human beings aren't born that way. Like, we are born with like just innate love, and so how we raise our children is everything. And it would only be a big deal if we made it a big deal. So our kids just care that she was happy and in love and happy.
Yeah.
And the end. So I love I love these shows that we can watch with our kids that help us in doing that, which is really, really neat, and opens up more conversations that maybe we're not even thinking of having, which is super cool. So those are two. What else is a favorite show of yours right now?
Well, we just watched the first episode of Jessica Jones the other night. That's a good one. I like all the Marvel shows. Although Defenders was pretty bad. Defenders. And we didn't even watch Iron Fist, so.
We watched the first episode. I don't think we finished the first episode, did we?
We finished the first episode. We didn't watch any more, but Iron Fist is just a bad character. I mean,
it was so really awful.
Is. Yeah.
But Defenders was good because of Jessica Jones.
Well, and Sigourney Weaver. And then they killed Sigourney Weaver.
Oh, man. You just might have made a big spoiler for people that haven't watched it yet.
Don't watch. Just watch it up through episode 6, and that's all you got to watch.
You just spoiled what happens.
Episodes 1 through 6 is good, and then episodes 7 and 8 is like Power Rangers. I thought I was watching Power Rangers in the last episode. I'm like, what in the blue hell is this?
How's that for a spoiler alert? Actually, the last Power Rangers movie was probably better.
It actually was. No, that movie was actually kind of cool. It was like, a movie version of Voltron.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Oh, yeah, that just turned out bad. And it's crazy because the two seasons of Daredevil were awesome.
Yeah.
Punisher's awesome. I liked Luke Cage a lot.
Yeah.
Jessica Jones has been great.
Yeah. But I like Luke Cage too. I'm just saying.
Well.
I like you more.
Good.
Yeah.
And then Iron Fist is just bad.
It is. And my favorite, though, of all the Marvel shows has been Punisher.
Oh, it's
which surprises me because it's the most violent. But since I've been done having children, I've been able to handle that again a little bit more. So.
Well, it was very realistic and very well done and thought out.
Brutal.
And written and directed.
Brutal. It was very Game of Thrones brutal to me. But Game of Thrones is Game of Thrones. So it took me a long time to watch that too. Everyone talked about it and I refused.
Yeah, we didn't watch it for a long time.
I waited till we were done having kids before I watched it. Yeah. So.
Well, I started reading the books and I was just like, holy shit, this is crazy. Right. Like, wow.
I have not read the books and I don't plan on it.
Yeah.
But the show, I can't wait. When is the next season? When is last season? Yeah. We still have to wait.
And then they got some spin-offs coming.
That'll be cool. So
high budget.
We started Jessica Jones, but I've been in kind of a funky mood lately and haven't wanted to watch anything darker.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been watching the funny stuff right now.
I watched Voltron with the kids.
Voltron. I haven't watched that.
That is fantastic.
What do you love about it?
Well, it's 5 robot lions that form this big, huge robot that kicks ass. It's, kind of like Transformers. It's pretty awesome, but I grew up watching Voltron when I was a kid, so they've redone it really well.
But they did a really good job.
Yeah, it's almost like if Transformers met Star Wars, but all the best parts of both,
right,
and all the bad parts are left out.
That's a really good description.
Yeah, it really is. It's good. It's
too bad they're not paying for us to plug that because that was really good.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. If you have kids who like fighting robots and monsters and science fiction and fantasy, it's a good show to watch with them.
That's cool.
It's well done.
That's neat. What else? Another funny show we were watching for a while was Gracie and Frankie, but we haven't picked that back up. We watched like 1.5 seasons. You haven't really.
We watched the first 2 seasons, and the third season. It's just it wasn't as good. The first season I thought was hilarious.
Right.
And the second season wasn't bad, and the third season kind of seemed a little ranty, a little skittle ranty.
I've been working through Supernatural again. I watched a ton of Supernatural. This is the show that just keeps on going. And I watched a ton of it postpartum with Beard Baby, and then I called it good. But I just recently picked that back up, and I forget what season I'm in, maybe 11, watching just one episode here and there with my older 2 at night. So, last year I watched almost nothing because we're like last 2 years so busy and working, and we worked a lot last year to make this year. I know it's a trigger word for me, but to have a little more balance in our life, working, kids, and then actually enjoying some things and relaxing and self-care and slowing down a little bit. So I've been actually making it a point to watch some shows, which I think is kind of just ridiculous because that was never a problem for me before. Like, it's one of my favorite things to do.
What's happening here?
I know. So any other favorite shows right now?
I know we talked about picking up Walking Dead again.
Yeah, we stopped watching it after that season premiere with Negan.
Yeah, season 7.
And that was the last time I watched it. I was like, hell to the no. If anything happens in a show where there's cheating or something happens with birth or a woman that's pregnant, I just never pick it back up. So like Grey's Anatomy, that's about when I stopped watching it, was when it was one of them was giving birth or something. And I was like, no, I really don't watch it. And The Walking Dead, when that happened, I was like, nope, I'm done. And that was, how long ago did that come out?
That was episode? Last year. Oh no, that was 2016.
Yeah, it's been over a
Late
year.
2016.
And just now I'm like, okay, maybe I'll binge watch the season now.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I want to get some free time at some point in the near future. I know that's probably sounds like a joke, but I'd love to rewatch Breaking Bad again. That's my favorite all-time show.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
Favorite all-time show.
And I'm waiting for Better Call Saul season 4 to come out.
Yeah.
Sometime in the summer or fall probably, but... Oh, man, I love that.
You know what's really great about watching all these shows is I can also sit there with my coffee. So it's like I can combine a couple things I love. Coffee, show, hanging out with you. It's really wonderful.
That is pretty cool.
I mean, it makes life worth living. Definitely.
I'm glad I make life worth living.
No, I meant Netflix.
Oh, well, fine. Whatever.
Just kidding.
Hate your guts.
Oh, my goodness. What about... Well, let's talk about coffee for a second real quick. So I posted something recently about alternative milk. People get really caught up on that. And it was one of my biggest frustrations when I needed to finally break up with dairy, was half and half in my coffee, which is really interesting because we haven't bought cow's milk to just have in our house in years. But for my coffee, I wanted half and half. So I was very upset. And I've talked about this before. It was a very dramatic scene unfolding. I talked crap about, these high maintenance women, and I was definitely giving them a run for their money because it was about like that. But anyways, now I just use some almond milk, and I'm a little less dramatic about it. And there's so many alternative milks now. People were talking about pea milk, and I'm like, you can't say that.
You just can't.
You can't tell someone, be like, so have you tried the new pea milk? Would you like some of my pea milk in your coffee? I mean, I'm going to leave your house.
But think about it with just the word pea, even though it's PEA. You can't say pea milk. You can't say pea juice. You can't say pea liquid.
It just does not work.
I mean, you just can't say pea anything.
So, I mean, it needs an alternative name. I mean, the dairy meat industry have been doing this for years. Like, we're going to feed you some breasts, instead of calling it just this part of the chicken. Like, we're going to feed you some that, like, they rename animals. Like, we need to rename pea milk. It needs an alternative name. Yeah, it really does.
I mean, I'm not. What'd you put in your coffee? Oh, I put some pea milk. What?
You're like, and
I'm getting the hell out of this.
That's where you just turn and walk away.
Yeah, because
you don't even say anything.
I mean, that insinuates a whole other level of inappropriateness.
That's just disgusting. Like, you're at the
pea milk.
You're at the restaurant.
Not pea, but pea milk means something else.
Do you have any pea juice for my coffee, please? And it's like, ma'am, we don't serve that here. Please leave. So there's pea milk, but we need an alternative name for this, you guys. Hemp milk, almond milk, soy milk. I know I'm forgetting half of them. What am I missing? There's like cashew milk.
Yeah.
There's even pecan milk.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually had those. They're really good. There's so many. I know I'm forgetting some, you guys. So
or just having your coffee black is not bad either.
Yeah. If you have a good coffee.
If you have a good
coffee. The coffee has to be really good. You have to have a good roast and like organic quality coffee. And then I can do it black. Or be stuck on an airplane with nothing other than dairy. So
true.
Yeah, that's actually what got me into drinking black coffee. So anyways, there's so many alternative milks now for coffee that we can really just leave these mama cows alone, like let's just leave them alone. Let's leave their teats alone. Like they just need to be left alone for a little bit. Just let them feed the little baby cows. They're so cute and so sweet, and get something else. I like creamy silk almond milk right now. I change on my almond milk. So I'm an almond milk fan in my coffee. It's the creamiest.
I am too.
But I change almond milks. After a while, I'm like, it's not doing it for me anymore. But right now, it's the regular silk almond milk. It's the creamiest, and it's got a little bit of a sweetness in it. So that's where I'm at with my coffee. I either drink it black or a little almond milk, and sometimes a little stevia, depending on my mood.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the current coffee situation. You're welcome. I will update you next time.
Updates periodically.
We need periodic coffee updates, right? I mean, it's a thing. It's a thing. I love cold coffee in the morning. I make coffee cubes so it doesn't get watered down, and I can make it at home. I really just like our coffee at home the most now, right? Like we'll go out and make coffee, and we're like, could have just had this at home, would have been better.
Yeah.
It's got to be really damn good for us to be like, okay, that was a good coffee. Where do you get your coffee from? Where's this? We start asking questions, and the waitress is like, the server. Is server more appropriate? So the server is like, I don't know, ma'am. It's just Folgers, but I'm not going to tell you that because you really like it. You pretentious little shit.
Folgers, Maxwell House.
So my dad drank a pot a day.
Oh, man.
Black. Yeah. So we'll update. Oh, and then in the evening, I like warm coffee most of the time. It's soothing. I don't do warm tea in the evening. I do coffee.
I've been loving warm coffee, just period now.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I go in phases, but...
So soothing.
Well, because warm coffee, I like to drink black. But it has to be good, like you said.
And then with the way like I've been eating the last 6 months and I have such an attachment to food, coffee has been really wonderful for me. It's been really, really good. I'm surprised I haven't taken up smoking too, but it seems like coffee is doing it. Maybe some cigars. Jerry was talking about cigars on a recent episode. I was like, okay, Jerry, I might have to do that. Yeah. Okay. And then the other thing I want to talk about was tattoos, because I just wanted to talk about my favorite things today. I wanted to talk about things I was interested in.
Now, isn't this crazy that a year and a half ago, neither one of us had a single tattoo?
I know.
We still could have passed for Mormon.
I was, well, if I still believed in it, I would just go to church and with my tattoos and wouldn't care.
That's true.
So yeah, that is a little weird. I had been wanting them for a few years, but I was still caught up on probably what people would think or if I would regret it. Once in a while, I actually have a little conversation with myself, like just like last night, like January, you regretting this? You regretting the job stopper on your hand, right? Like, are you regretting getting 2 stars? Who needs 2 stars? Oh, and I kind of look at my arm and then I'm like, no, like January, how could you regret having this much rainbow awesomeness on your body and just art? And it's just part of me and it feels like it's always been there. So I check in with myself on it. Just January, make sure January's all right with it, and January's all right with it. So it really doesn't matter what anyone else thinks.
Very good.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, I got the octopus and the sea turtle, and the bulk of the octopus is in the crook of my elbow.
Oh man!
And the shading. And it was about an hour and a half of straight just shading in there, and that was probably the top 3 worst pains I've ever felt in my life. And usually when I go get tattoos, It's so strange because it relaxes me and I end up falling asleep.
I know, it's so weird.
But good Lord, this was horrible. And my body didn't like it. It was rejecting the new tattoo for about a week.
Yeah, it was angry.
Yeah, it was angry, inflamed.
Yeah, it was
oozing,
pissed.
Juicy.
Ew.
And
was it moist?
A little moist.
Awful
a little
word.
Bloody.
Oh my God. Anyways.
And it finally, after about a week, started to settle down, and it was the first time I actually felt like I was regretting getting a tattoo. And then once everything healed and I came to my senses, I'm like, oh, this is amazing. I love it.
Can I just tell you that this experience that you have had has brought me so much joy?
Yeah. I know. It sounds freaky. You go get tattoos and you fall asleep. Like, what?
It has brought me so much joy because every time I get a tattoo, the needle or needles, because usually it's more than one needle.
So she was shading.
Hits the skin, and I'm like, what in the ever-loving hell were you thinking? This is the stupidest idea you've ever had, January. It's like being in transition for birth. Like, what?
Except you're voluntarily choosing it.
Yes! It's the same thing. Like, I wanted to get pregnant. I wanted to have a baby. I wanted to have this natural birth. And in transition, I'm like, you are crazy, woman. Like, what the hell were you thinking? I actually had that conversation with myself with our 4th in transition. And that's the same thing every time I get a tattoo, which is why I have to breathe and moan through getting tattoos. They're done, and mine get cranky. Mine get really cranky, and they don't want to heal, or my body tries to overheal them. I don't know. But once they settle, the color's great on my skin. And then you go in, you're like, yeah, it didn't really hurt. Yeah, fell asleep, had a nap. Look, I got a cool tattoo. It's healed in a week. And I'm like, you son of a... And then this time this happened, and I think it was the first time in my life I ever snickered.
I'm not gonna lie, it kicked my ass.
Yeah, it did.
It was a brutal tattoo session. It was about 4 hours, and it was just brutal. And it was all crook of my elbow, inside of my forearm, inside of my arm, up by my armpit. It was all the worst places on your arm to get tattooed in one session.
Yeah, that is brutal. Oh, and I want to say that I gave you solidarity and support, but I didn't. I was really enjoying your misery on
I had
this
a
one.
feeling you were.
I really was.
I had a sneaky
I was like,
suspicion.
yes, now he knows. Now he won't be like boasting, and all like, oh, it doesn't hurt me. It must be something with your
Well,
skin.
I got that hard stuff out of the way, so this next time when I go in to get this finished, I'll be taking a nap.
That tentacle is going to go on the outside of your elbow this time. Are you sure about that?
Well, I've already had some around my elbow.
You just think it can't be any worse?
It's not going to be any worse. There's no way.
I will update you all on that as well.
Yeah.
And if he takes a nap or he's like, I lied.
That's actually next week.
It's worse. Yeah. You're getting that touch up next week.
Yeah, you're going to have to go ahead nothing, and now I'm going to have
I know.
a full
sleeve. It's super sexy, especially during naked cardios. So I completely support.
I need to work on the other sleeve.
Yes, you do. I am torn on what tattoos to get next. I mean, my forearms are getting pretty covered. The big ones were painful. And so I have this idea that I might just do a bunch of little tattoos that build up to a big tattoo.
An anchor?
No. But
little pink butterfly on the ankle.
I don't know. I really want to shut up. I really want a sunrise or sunset tattoo. I mean, I guess they could be one and the same, but it brings me a lot of peace and a lot of hope. When the sun is setting, if you had a hard day, it's like looking out at the sunset, and it is a gift that nature is giving you that is so beautiful that you just can't help but appreciate it and know that it's going to be okay. And when the sun rises, it is literally a new day where you get to make new choices and you get another chance. And so for me, sunsets and sunrise have just a really personal, positive meaning. So I think that that's going to be happening. I might do both. I might just have a different artist. I'll tell them a sunset, one a sunrise, and just let them do their interpretation and do two different ones. So I'm thinking that I think it'd be really cool to get like a fruit. What would that be called? Compilation. Is that the right word?
Yes. Yeah.
Is there a better word for that? Anyways, so
mural.
Yeah, because it's literally saved my life. Eating low fat, lots of fruits and vegetables, juicing. So that's an idea, but I haven't decided if that'd be cool because it'd be really colorful and be meaningful, or if that would just be cheesy. I haven't decided. So I'm thinking about that.
Well, if you think it's cheesy,
well,
it'll be cheesy.
It needs to be done by the right person.
If you own it.
That's
It'll
true.
Be amazing.
That's because some of my tattoos could be seen as cheesy, but I own them. So
show people, hey, look at
badass.
this damn pineapple. Look how awesome it is. Look at all the spikes on my pineapple.
I love it. I love that. Oh, man.
My banana looks like a scythe, like a blade.
It's like Fruit Ninja up in here. What's your
actually a cool game.
High score? It is. No, it is a cool game until you beat my high score on some freak glitch of the game, and there's no way I can beat your high score, so I gave up Fruit Ninja years ago.
Hey, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Hate the glitch. Speaking of Wreck-It Ralph 2 is coming out.
Yes, excited.
So I'm looking forward to that. Any other movies you're looking forward to?
I am looking forward to the Avengers Infinity War. I'm not going to lie. That looks pretty phenomenal.
Do you agree with the fan theory that Captain America is going to kick the bucket?
I think it's a strong possibility just because the actor who plays Bucky is signed on for so many more movies.
Right.
And Bucky takes over the mantle of Captain America
in the comic books. Right. Mm-hmm.
But they may swerve us and kill off someone like Thor.
True.
Which I think that could be.
He's so cute.
But he's kind of run his course. I could see him kicking the bucket.
Isn't he immortal?
Yeah, but I think Thanos is going to crush his head.
But if he didn't...
And we just see it coming in the preview.
It's going to be like the fingers. Mountain and... What's his name?
Prince Oberyn.
Moment. Yeah, where you're just like... You're devastated because he's like the only nice character in the whole entire world that Martin has created. And then he's dead with a squished head.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm really hoping that doesn't happen to Thor.
I'm pretty sure Black Panther is going to survive.
I'm pretty
because
that movie,
he's like the new A-list hero.
Because it's like the best movie of all time for like 50 million reasons.
It was pretty phenomenal.
As a woman, it's just like all the female characters.
Well, it was just straight up
equal.
Awesome. It was great directing, great writing, great acting, great characters, and great villain. If you don't have a good villain, then it's hard to have a good movie. And Marvel has had that criticism where they've had very lackluster villains, and that villain was awesome.
But then they even gave you a twist there where it's like, is he really a villain or is it two different points of view?
Don't say anything.
I love that. So that's true. We'll talk about it later when we know everyone's watched it. I was out with a group of ladies and hold on, in Louisville. I almost got it. I think I had it that last time. Last weekend, and I was the only one out of the 5 of us who had watched Black Panther, and I was like, y'all need to get your shit together, because it is the best movie of all time. I've been low key trying to figure out how to move to Wakanda. Like, I don't know if they'll take me or not, but I'll just do anything to be there. No, anyway, so none of them has seen it, so I don't want to give anything away. It's fantastic. One of my favorite movies of all time. It just literally punched through so much crap. That's all I'll say. It has punched through, and then kept punching through, and then you're thanking them for punching you in the throat, actually. Like, thank you for that.
Well, my favorite character was Okoye, I think her name is. She's the actor plays Michonne on Walking Dead.
Yes.
Holy crap. She was
fierce.
So badass.
Fierce.
It was awesome.
Fierce. Anyway, yeah, I don't want to give anything away, so I need to stop myself from talking about it. But that was phenomenal.
Yeah, if you're one of the 5 people in Louisville that hasn't seen that movie in the United States,
act together.
Yeah, go see it.
Go see it.
Good.
Speaking of the meetup conference, Find Your Village Gathering, whatever you want to call it, in Louisville whatever I want to call it, I guess. I'm the one that makes up these names. But anyways, it was amazing. It was so great. And it's rare these days where I can say everything from the moment I left my home, which is really hard to leave you guys to travel, and then traveling by myself, which is difficult, and then, putting on an event and holding space for people by myself, and it's not like, oh, poor me, but it is really difficult. It's emotionally energy dependent, really dependent on,
it's hard work
holding space for people. So for it to go great from the moment I leave here to the moment I get home, between traveling and flights and airports and the event and the group of women that I was able to spend time with after the event. I mean, everyone at the event was amazing, but afterwards was just one of the best girls' night out I've had in years, and filled my cup too. And it was amazing. And I'm so glad I had the opportunity to go there and hold an event there and hold space for people, and also to just be in everyone's presence that was there. It was phenomenal. So I'm really looking forward to going to Portland, Maine next weekend. And guess what?
What?
No one had told me this until 2 days ago when I got a DM on Instagram like, hey, January, don't know if anyone's told you, but it's like the weekend of the Maple Festivals here in Portland, Maine when you're here. What? So my excitement level went up about 30 notches.
Maple syrup on every corner. At every turn.
I'm so excited. It's just amazing. So I'm going to be doing that next weekend. That event is sold out. So if you're listening to this and you're anywhere near Portland, Maine, and wanted to come, email me at bwfconference@gmail.com. I see if I can connect you with someone who needs to sell or transfer a ticket because it's sold out. So that's next.
Next weekend, yeah.
Yeah, and you guys, I'm doing a few more events after that this year, and that's it. So there's Ottawa, and then there's Buffalo, New York are the last 2 events after Portland, Maine like this.
Of the Find Your Village,
yes. Yes, done. They're done after that.
Expired.
Done.
After July.
Yes. And they have been amazing, but sometimes you need to know when to move on to the next thing. And so one of the next things is these How to Do You Boo seminars. Only 20 people, very intimate, very about each person that's there. And it's all about self-care, self-love, body positivity, motherhood. If you're not a mom, or you don't want to be one, or you aren't one yet, about your business, your life. It's going to be incredibly personal and amazing. And I'm just doing 4 in Dallas, Philly, Minneapolis,
Detroit.
And Detroit. Detroit's filling up the fastest. Yeah. And those are more expensive because I am traveling for only 20 people, and it is going to be like a complete, I hate to use this word, but coaching session, but it's, mastermind, 20 of us coming together and just really getting into all this self-care and self-love and business and branding and all this stuff that people talk about on social media, but it's like, yeah, okay, girl, but how do I apply that in my life? Well, let me sit down with you and tell you.
Exactly.
So we're going to be doing that. If you are seriously interested in coming to one of those 4, DM me on Instagram or email me and I will give you a $100 off code. So I'm really excited about those. And then there's the 2 conferences. Portland, Oregon, duh.
September 15th.
Every year, Portland, Oregon, like that's our people. And that's, September 15th. And we just had a new sponsor sign on for that I can't quite share yet, but I will next week.
Yes.
So that's super fun. And vendor spots have opened up for that, and they're starting to fill up. And then Sydney in May.
Sydney, Australia.
Yeah.
May 26th.
Yeah. We have the venue finalized. It's been announced on the Facebook event page and on the website, right?
Yeah, it's the Northside Conference Center.
Right.
In the Crow's Nest area of Sydney.
They've been so great to work with. And we have some more surprises coming up for that. Yeah. But we were able to open a final 25 tickets because of our capacity now that we have a venue finalized. And I think I don't quote me on this, but about 20 left. So if you want to come to this conference, go get a ticket for you and any friends or anyone right now. There's a VIP session that has 15 to 20 tickets left as well. It's going to be like the first conference in 2013, I think.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be an energy there that will never be able to be duplicated. I think it's going to be so fantastic, so beautiful, so connected, so inspiring, so powerful, and just a space for 200 of us to come together. And it's not about empowering you. It's about reminding you of the power you already have, right? And so that's... I can't.
Could be good stuff.
So great. Yeah, I think there's 1 or 2 vendor spots left for that and a few sponsor opportunities left. So the next thing I'm announcing for Sydney is this guest speakers. We will be having guest speakers at these conferences, and I haven't done that in a while, but Sydney and Portland, Oregon will have guest speakers.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. So that's going to be, and is that it for events this year? That's it.
That's it.
And then the webinars. Yeah.
Webinars.
Yeah. So for you
April
guys.
April 7th is the next one.
Yeah. And that's on postpartum and motherhood.
Yeah.
And then self-care is the next month, right?
May 5th.
Yeah. So anyway, so if you guys are still listening, thank you for hanging out with us today. I just wanted to get on and talk about some of our favorite things, which is meeting you guys face-to-face, coffee, tattoos, funny shows, comedians, as if you were sitting here having a cup of coffee with us. So until next time, love ya.
Adios.